What, me? I'm innocent. I'm just a humble servant.
Aren't you a hero, mister?
No, kid. Heroes get songs. I get scars.
And here I thought you'd be inspiring the next generation.
You know me. Inspiring is not my repertoire.
Well, it's a good thing I brought the charm.
Sounds like trouble.
This is something new I'm working on because, I can't just sit around crying all day because I didn't get a job. And yeah, I did cry before I shot it. Even though I didn't get the job, every morning I'm going through the boards, I'm sending out resumes. But while I'm doing that, I'm keeping up with my skills. I'm trying new things. I'm experimenting. There's a lot of new technology out there. AI is, of course, it's the big thing that everybody is trying to get involved with and people are talking about. I'm of two minds about AI. I think on one hand, it's great because it has optimized my workflow significantly. Generative AI, like generative art, when you are typing in a prompt and you're allowing the machine or the model, the programming model of the machine to come up with the imaging for you, that stuff I'm not a fan of at all. And I've messed around with it. I've definitely screwed around with it, but it's very limiting. The images are all basically very flat. They all look alike. And that's not even before you get into the animation on the video of it all. The technology is just way too buggy and too unpredictable. It's inconsistent. And I'm not even just talking about with faces, because there are updates on these platforms all the time that are touting this image consistency. And it's all well and good, but there are still a lot of issues. When it comes down to crafting a film, it's one thing when you're doing tech demos or like little short films and stuff like that, things like La Jetée. La Jetée is the short film that 12 Monkeys is based on. That movie is told through a series of stills. AI art and AI video might be good for that kind of storytelling, but it's there is too much jury rigging that needs to be done to do things that a few weeks with Unreal Engine, you can set up the camera, put it wherever you want, make the characters do whatever you want, instead of relying on maybe it'll get this right. You know what I mean? So for my latest AI experiments, I've been cutting out generative art. I don't want to deal with images that it creates, because I just think that the best type of art and the best type of images come from human creation. So either drawing or painting or, photography, or using 3D models to set up a scene and then rendering that out with image to video AI. That to me seems like the most efficient workflow. I started learning 3D animation during the pandemic shutdown. I was messing around with Dad's studio and I made a few short films with it, including one with Skeleton Crew star Ravi Conyers. It was a good time for me to experiment with motion capture and all that good stuff. But because Dad's studio is very limiting as far as animation is concerned, I taught myself Unreal Engine. That took over a year and a half for me to get comfortable enough with it for me to make things. So while these things were happening with me trying to figure out how to optimize my workflow with Unreal Engine, all of these changes and these leaps in AI video have come. And again, when it comes down to the algorithm generating the images, I don't like it that much. That Coca-Cola commercial, for example, is terrible. They left a shot in there with a boot stepping and the boot morphs into a different boot. Look, I have posted stuff using AI. I use a lot of AI imaging in promoting my last book, Dogwood. I liked the images because I thought that they matched what I was looking for as far as the characters were concerned. After me bashing generative art, that's all generative art. And again, I knew what to expect. I was also kind of going for this painterly Americana, like Norman Rockwell type look to the images. So stylistically, it worked, but it still looks like AI. With the film that I showed in the beginning, that is something that I started writing called Mythspire or Mythscape. I haven't decided on the name. I basically came up with some story about these two rogues who are chasing treasure throughout this realm. What I did there was I created stills and rendered out the stills and brought the stills into, in this case, Kling, because of all of the AI video platforms I've used, Kling is by far the best one. The other ones just don't cut it. And here's the thing, if anyone decides that they want to subscribe to any of these services, you really have to experiment with them because some do things better than others. I found that Kling, by and large, does a better job with everything. The one thing that every single one of these platforms fails at is action. When it comes to creating any kind of kinetic movement or contact or anything like that, fight, a sword fight, a fist fight, anything like that, it doesn't know what to do. And that goes for every single platform does this. I have a rule that if it takes me more than 3 attempts to get the platform to animate the image right, I will create a different image. Maybe it just needs to be from a different angle. Maybe I need to reconsider what's going on. That's what a lot of this trial and error is. There's sometimes you'll luck out and you'll get exactly what you want. There are times where you can just put the image in and press generate and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Other times you have to guide it, you have to let it know what to do. And again, it either gets it either understands the assignment or it does not. The greatest advantage to rendering out the animation this way, it could take as little as 2 minutes or as long as 10 minutes to render animation. 5 seconds of animation. Unreal Engine, for example, that same 5 seconds may take 40 minutes to render, 30 minutes to render. And if it was rendered in DAZ, it's 30 minutes per frame. So it would take half a day or close to a day to render out a 5-second animation. Ultimately, I like using Unreal Engine more than I do using the AI approach. Granted, the AI approach is faster. It's a lot easier to generate things like visual effects, things like that. Lip syncing is hit or miss. It depends on how many people you have on screen at once. And also there's still glitching. It's not perfect. All of these tools that have been developed over the last few years, they really do help the artist realize things that they've, always wanted to make. And with Unreal Engine, I mean, it's literally, you can do whatever you want. You can do anything you want. With this tech AI stuff, you could do anything. It's just that we have to figure out how to make money off of this shit. That's the trick.
Tell me again why we're doing this instead of drinking.
Because someone is paying us, and because you're bored.